So this is probably the last part of the actual programming concepts that we are going to cover in this course. From the next week onwards, we'll do something else. So this is just concluding the file handling part that we started in the previous lecture. There's one more thing that is important for you to understand, and this is known as random access within a file. Okay, so whatever we discussed in the previous part of this lecture, that was basically sequential access of a file. So what do I mean by sequential access is that we was trying to read a particular file from the beginning, and then we actually read the whole file, and whatever was the content, we just showed it to the on the console. Similarly, when we were writing files, we didn't really do any jumps, right? So basically we started writing from the beginning, and we wrote in in a sequential fashion. We really did not say, okay, let me write 5 lines of text and then I'll go back to line 3 and then I'll insert some text, or let me add uh, five elements in the list and then I'll insert a third element. I'll insert an element at the third index, something like this. So we didn't do that, right? We basically just did everything in a sequence. We didn't actually go back at some other point in the file. So sometimes you would like to do that, right? In fact, this is usually how we deal with files. If you are playing a music file, an MP3 file, sometimes you would like to go at a particular point, right, or your favorite part in the song, and then play from there only. You probably don't want to hear the whole song. Or when you are trying to edit a particular document, you would like to go at a particular line number and a particular character in the line, and then just make the edit then and there, instead of reading through the whole process, the whole document. So this is, this whole idea of seeking a point within the file randomly, okay, which is not necessarily the beginning or the end, is known as random access. Okay, so there are two functions in C. If you want to do this random access thing, whether you want to read uh, a particular item in the file, or if you want to write at a particular location in the file, the two functions that are going to be useful for you are ftell and fseek. So ftell is just a function that is going to tell you where is the current offset. When I say offset, I'll just tell you what I mean by offset. But the idea is, when you read or write in a particular file, there is a kind of a kind of pointer, you can say. It's not exactly a pointer, but similar to a pointer. So that pointer points to certain location within the file. So if the file is, let us say, 50 bytes long, and if you read one particular integer from the beginning, the pointer will now be at location number 4, right? Because integer is 4 bytes. So basically, if you read a 4-byte integer, the pointer will move ahead by 4. So this is the idea. I'll just show you an example as well. And if you so ftell is for just as it says, tell, right? So it will just tell you where the pointer is currently. If you also want to change it, if you want to take it to some other random position within the file, the function to do that is fseek. So just to give you an idea of what I really mean by this offset, when you actually open a file either for reading or for writing, this so-called pointer is at the beginning of your file, right? So basically, these are the bytes in your file. The byte offset is basically 0, right? So whenever you will read something, the first thing that will be read is this byte, right? And then this byte, and then this byte, and then this byte, so on and so forth. Now let us say you read an integer from this particular file. The byte offset will now go to this point. Okay, it will reach here, that 4 bytes have been read. So whatever you will read from here on, the first thing that will be read is this byte, then this byte, then this byte, and so on. So if you read a character, for example, this particular byte gets read, and if you read a short, a 2-byte data type, then it will move forward by 2. So this is the idea, that as you keep reading or writing the file, this pointer keeps on moving forward. Okay, and sometimes if you want to uh, if you want to actually place this pointer at a precise position, within this whole let us say stream of bytes, a list of bytes, then you use a function like fseek. So this is an example. You remember that we created a list in the previous part of the lecture. We called that function, that program, list saver, and this was a list that we created in a file called list.bin. So let's just try to modify this list. Okay, so the idea is I want to make a change at a particular position in this list, right? I don't really want to read the whole list. I just want to make a change at one particular position in this list. So this is equivalent to actually opening up a file, let us say in Word, and then going and changing a particular line. Okay, not the whole of the thing, but just a particular line or a particular character. So this is another program that is going to do that. The first thing that I do, of course, if you remember, the format of this file is such that the we first write the size of the list. That is the first thing that we write into the file, and then we write those many number of integers after that, right? So for example, when we created list.bin, the size of the list was 5. So essentially it was a 5 plus 1, that is a 6 integers. This file is a 6 integer file in some ways, right? So it has 24 bytes of data within. The first integer is the size, and the size is 5, and then there are 5 more integers that follow, which essentially constitute the list. So again, the first thing that we do is we simply read the number of elements that are there in the list. Then we actually tell the user that this is the total number of elements that I have found in this particular file, and then we basically ask the user, would you like to actually would you like me to fetch a particular a particular element in this list, right? So this is the idea. We are not really fetching the list from the beginning, right? This is what we were doing in the previous part of the lecture, that we basically opened up the file and then we read all the values that are there in the list. But here we are not doing that. We are basically asking the user which particular element within this whole list, this list of 5 numbers, would you like me to fetch for you. So let's say the user enters some value, and then let me call it say I, right? So user actually entered a value I, and now my idea is that I just want to fetch that ith element of the array. So if I assume that I starts from 1, so basically the user will say fetch me the first item or second item or third item. Then what really I have to do is something like this. I have to skip I minus 1 number of integers in the list. So if my list consists of 5 numbers and the user says fetch me the fourth number in this list, I actually have to skip 4 cross 3, that is 12 bytes of data within my file, and then read the fourth integer in the list. So this is the rough idea, that I need to do some kind of arithmetic to understand where should my read write happen, okay, within this whole file. So here what I'm doing is the seek cur actually says that wherever is the current pointer right now, just advance it by this much amount. Okay, and what is this much amount? It says index minus 1. So here I is essentially index. I should have written I should have probably written index here, but I here is essentially index here. So so what you are trying to do is you are trying to skip index minus 1 into size of int number of bytes. So this fseek will actually take your pointer ahead by these many number of bytes, and if you want to take the pointer backwards, then you can just use minus of something, and I'll just show you how it can be done. But if you want to go forward, if this number is if this number is positive, the pointer moves forward. If this number is negative, it moves in the opposite direction, that is backwards. So then let us say the user actually tells me that please fetch this particular element for me that I have already fetched. I show the user that element by reading that particular location using the fread function. Again, I'm just reading one integer here. I'm not reading any other integer other than what the user asked me for. Then I ask the user, would the user like to update that element, whatever I've just read. If the user says yes, then what I'm doing is, now you can see that here I'm just going 4 bytes backward, right? Size of int is 4. So wherever I am currently, so because I have already read let us say, if I was 4, so I have already read the fourth integer. I have gone ahead in the file. I need to come back. I need to come back 4 bytes because I have to overwrite this particular element, right? So here this minus of size of int will actually take back my pointer by 4 bytes, and then I do a f write. Okay, this f write will actually write the new integer value that the user wants to up. So this is in this way we can actually update the list, one element of the list at a time. So this is just to clarify what exactly is happening. In the beginning, this is what the list looked like: 7, 11, 3, 29 and 23. Then I called my list element modifier program. It says the number of elements in the file are 5. The current position in the file is byte number 4. This is why byte number 4, because the size of the list was written in the beginning of the file. So when I read the first integer, the byte location, and by the way this 4 is coming from the ftell function. So I just asked where exactly is the current byte offset. It says it is at byte number 4. Then it says which element should I fetch for you starting from 1. So it says fourth. So I just fetch the fourth element of this list, 7, 11, 3 and 29. So 29. Then it says, yeah, that element at that position is 29. Do you want to change it? If I say yes, I ask, okay, enter the new number with which you want to replace 29. I said 41 and it says done. Now if you read the same list all over again, you see that the list has changed from 7, 11, 3, 29. It has become 7, 11, 3, 41. Okay. So the changes have now been made in the binary file. And how did we do that? We did that with the help of fseek. We simply went to that particular location in the file where 29 was written, and then uh, we have overwritten that 29 with 41 using an fwrite. So this is just a very simple example. Run this code, by the way, and try to modify other elements of this list as well. It's a very simple code. When you'll read it, you'll understand. The only thing that you need to understand is that format, right? That binary format. Exactly how are the exactly how did we write stuff in list.bin. If you understand this, then you'll also understand these offsets, right? How exactly should I position my offsets in a way to access the correct variable, and even overwrite that correct variable. So there's one more point. This is probably the last point that we are going to cover, and this is writing structures. Okay, writing or reading structures. So basically, remember you remember that we talked about this binary format. I told you that you need to be you need to be very precise with how the data is written and read off, right? I told you that example that let us say you wrote 13 bytes to a file. It is possible that when you read it back, okay, you might actually read it back in a different order. So instead of integer double character, you can read character double integer, something like that, and it will basically mess up the whole data. And that is why format is important, that the program which wrote that binary file should be compatible with the program that reads it. Now one simple way to actually take up this to make this micromanagement go at least one level higher is to use structures, and this is a very common thing that we also do. What we do is, let us say I have some 3 or 4 data items that I'm supposed to write into a file, and that I have to do multiple times. The best way to do that is simply create a structure, and then a structure, you simply read or write structure variables using fread and fwrite. So in that case, fread and fwrite do not expect you to read or write individual elements of the array of the structure. So all the member variables, let us say a particular structure has 3 member variables, you're not supposed to make 3 f reads or 3 f writes to write it to the file. Just one f read or one f write will write all these 3 variables in one go. Okay, and as long as you do it on the same machine, there is something known as little endian and big endian that you don't really need to be worried about as of now. Again, this is something that you will study in computer organization, but as long as you create the file and read the file on the same platform, it doesn't matter, right, exactly how these member variables are written or read back. So this is a very simple example. Let us say I have 3 data items that I want to write multiple times in a file. I just put them in a structure called sample, and I if you neglect that structure padding part, this was there as an additional uh, reading part in I think one of your structure lectures. So just like for now, just assume that there is no structure padding. So how much space would one structure variable of sample take? It will take 7 bytes, right? So int takes 4, char takes 1, and short takes 2. So you'll require 7 bytes of space to store one structure variable of type sample. Now let us say you want to write these structure variables in a file. The idea is, in the beginning, you'll start at offset 0. Then once you write, so if you make one f write call, okay, with this particular structure variable, the byte offset jumps by 7. Not so you don't have to write 3 f write calls for data 1, data 2, and data 3. Just writing one f write call for, let us say, s1, will write all these things within the file. Again, you really don't need to know what exactly is the byte ordering here, you know, whether it is little endian, big endian. These are certain things that you don't care. So essentially you don't care which byte within these 7 bytes belong to which member variable, and how are they ordered. All those things you don't need to care about. You simply say, okay, 7 bytes, go and write it in the file. Similarly, if you write another structure variable, the offset will go to 14, something like this. And it is also the same while you read it back. So when you read it back, these, in the first go, 7 bytes will be read, and they'll be assigned properly to different member variables. Okay, let me just show you an example. That car example that we had with structures, that it is the same example, but now we are actually writing a car catalog, those 3 cars that we had created, in a binary file. And as long as I said, so as long as the binary file that you have created, it stays on the same platform and you read it back on the same platform. If you do an f read over this, like this, f read ampersand car size of car 1, so basically this is going to read one structure variable at a time. Okay, as long as you're doing it on the same platform, you really don't need to worry about it. So something like this, that with one cars catalog creator function program, I created the catalog. I just wrote these 3 things in some file, and then with the cars catalog reader, I have just read them back. So these things, right, these 3 values are being read from a file. That is the idea. Okay, so this was all about function file handling. There are of course many more concepts which are far more advanced, and probably they are specific to C. So I'm not going into the detail. You check out the additional reading section in this presentation. Maybe that will point you to some interesting discussions. But this is from my side. This is it. Okay, so we will discuss this on in the Wednesday class. Thank you. Bye.